Okay, so we are going to put switchboard on trial to be deleted.
Yep.
And we are going to go through a generalized structure that a risk-bearing entity can be set up so that it can engage in contractual relationships with external partners whilst maintaining the independence of parties that are inside of the Dreamcatcher network. The structure is likely to be a company registered in Delaware that runs not for profit and is simply used as a joint venture hosting vehicle.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so switchboard, because
We're going to do the switchboard trial first.
yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, you're prosecution, so you start.
Huh. What? It's a funny rule. Um, if the existence of a bot is necessitated by if you were deleted, would things get better or worse? Better is
Mm-hmm.
always fewer bots. Worse is if the useful functions can't be picked up by other bots.
You've
So,
just quoted me back. Yes, okay. Yeah.
oh, I didn't quote. I just
Right.
anyway. Um, if I was to pull up Chat GPT,
Mm-hmm.
their switchboard is here. That's how they switchboard. And you can pull in a different model in the middle of chatting with different models, and you manually drive the switchboard.
Um, right.
Switchboard, right? So a good reason actually, if you can delete something and it's kind of not that much worse, then that's a good case to remove it, man. Because every component adds an exponential
Yes.
amount of work.
Yeah, yeah. We're agreed on that. I've fallen out a bit with Elon Musk,
Because it's
but
burning
he is
time. No,
absolutely
yeah,
right.
it's burning
Yeah.
time though. Like it's taking a lot of time for you to get the switchboard thing going, and it might not be that we actually need it for our purposes. Like I don't feel like it's necessarily adding to our tool set. Now that's okay. That's a thing that I might be wrong at, and you'll prove me wrong. I think we may need a switchboard for things like Hammer, but it is actually not unreasonable to expect the early users of Hammer to manually drive the switchboard in terms of like having their bots be in a drop down like what we have up here, and you're like talking to the router, talking to the customer service agent, talking to the banker. Those are not unreasonable things to get them to manipulate the system with, particularly not if I think of the damage that could be done when switchboard goes awry, because it's quite infuriating when switchboard gets it wrong.
Hmm. Right. Okay. So I concede the idea that at the top level, the kind of naive level, if you just had a pull down, it's like I want to talk to Hammer. You can that is essentially conceptually the same as a pull down, and
Yeah,
even we could capture, say, with the ideal where you're only talking to your system. You can say, right, show me the drop down Hammer, and now you're talking to Hammer. That's absolutely fine. Now, there is a point where you're not clear about where you want to go. So there's a cognitive load that's put onto the user
mm-hmm.
that says, okay, so Hammer is the name. So I pull it down and Hammer, and it could be quite a large list.
Yeah,
But what Switchboard does at the moment already is I want to talk to the CRM, or you put in the comment that is to do with the CRM, and it just goes, you want to talk to Hammer. That's great. We'll move to Hammer. And it does that very well at the moment. And the second point is the compound thing, which is, I don't know, you want
the
to
orchestration. Oh,
the
right.
orchestrator, right?
Yeah,
And the orchestrator is switchboard like. in that with a compound,
Yeah, but
switching
it
bots
can
into that.
also be a standalone bot. Like I could go up to this drop down, pull it down, and go orchestrator. Okay, here we go, orchestrator. I want to blah blah blah. So I could manually drive the switchboard in that way, right?
You could do, but you're offloading onto
The user, right?
the
Yeah,
user.
yeah, that's right. But and I'm arguing what's wrong with that because at this stage in our development cycle, we end up wanting to use bots and refine bots. Switchboard is not anywhere near final, and
It's not,
switchboard
but
gets in the way.
it's oh right, okay. So there's two things there. It's not final. I agree. It gets in the way. Let's come to that in a second. The way I'm looking at, I've been using switchboard is a little bit like a PA. So I don't have to remember the
Do
names
you
of the
have any
bots.
threads that show this in action?
Sorry, I didn't prepare on this, but if you give me a second, I can find one.
The defense rests its case.
No, it does not rest its case. The defense has to had its wish for just a wee while. Well, I find one.
Could I start up a session and run it, and you can tell me what to put in it?
Yeah, okay. Right, clearly state your problem, and then let's do a fresh session, and I will show the counter argument about why having a PA is better than having to cognitively hold the information.
I don't have a.
You don't have an argument? Well, that's your rubbish, prosecutor.
Yeah, I don't have a. Well, here I wanted to call O1 and talk about a bunch of stuff, right? But then I got CreatorBot, and I don't want CreatorBot. I also don't want to have to say O1 at the start. I want to know that I'm in O1 and this is who I'm talking to. I don't want to have to start everything with this extra opening line.
Okay. Right. So, bring up a new sesh. Completely clean one.
Oh, let me just clear my site data so that I get the latest the latest switchboard, right? That's what you'd want me to do?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Okay.
So this is the brand new stuff.
Okay. So. Now again, the whole promise of NL is you can just talk to it and stuff happens, and you got all the tests and so on, and it happens correctly based on a whole bunch of rules, and pushes back when you're trying to do something really odd that you can't do.
Well, that's kind of the issue as well that I want to raise. You have not been creating tests, and so you have a bunch of. The problem that we're facing in this trial is deeper than just switchboard. What we need to figure out is how to unify our processes, because I don't know all the goals that you have for switchboard, and there is actually nowhere that I can go to learn that. Reading the prompt doesn't tell me what the prompt is meant to do, or why it contains certain sections, or why there were major revisions. There is no change log. There's no change log that you've kept, and I'm not asking you to keep one. I'm simply saying that between major revisions, I have no idea. And second of all, in any given version, I can't see the tests or the meaning behind the tests, so I can't see it. But also, you are in danger of drifting by chasing shiny thing after shiny thing, and then ending up far away. And then I'm like, what does this thing even do?
That is a fair pushback. The tests at the moment, I can see that we haven't breached that gap. However, as a proxy for it, there are the examples. So if you go look at priority rules example 1, I've not done this yet. That is
Yeah, that's
easily
not
translatable into a
giving. I
test.
don't want a halfway fix. Like we got to move to testing, buddy. We got to move there.
Yeah,
And
but the question is, that's not Switchboard's fault.
whose fault is it?
Well, it's my fault. Well,
Okay.
it's my work to be done.
Okay.
Um,
All right. So why don't we separate that out then and say that there would be a bunch of tests for switchboard. I
yep.
need not complex tests. I need very simple tests, and then I can understand what you're trying to do for switchboard. I can make those tests run, even though it is my fault that there is not an automated easy test runner. But I am working on it, and I need you to be. Every time we talk about the benefits of our system, you mention the word testing, and yet you are not doing testing even in pseudocode. And so we have to work hard to change that.
Well, yes, I would push back, but only slightly. In
It's
that
not,
the
yeah,
testing at the moment is in here. But
justifying where
I
things
do
are.
think,
And yeah,
yeah,
we
I
want
can see, I can
progress,
see.
and progress comes from testing. We must
Right
do testing.
now, but the question at hand is, do we delete Switchboard?
Yeah,
So if we take as read that testing is not there, and that's not Switchboard's fault, the value of Switchboard is you can talk to. It's a bit like having a really smart PA, where you don't have to have in your head a map of. It's not all down to you. It's like it's not. Jimmy,
yeah. So
do this.
you're
It's
gonna
not.
tell me about the benefits of having a PA that knows about the agents in attendance. Is that what you're going? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and we'll
So
interpret your
the
words.
rebuttal to that is yes, that's essential, but not every time I'm doing something. That's essential as someone I'm going to call on directly, because if you're saying that I can call a bot like 01 or 40, I should be able to call the PA and be like, hey, who can do this sort of thing, blah blah blah, as opposed
Ah,
to it being in the
interesting
way of
enough.
every single thing.
Interesting enough. That's how I've been using it. So I'm still looking for a session I've got. Um,
Okay, but
well, here's one.
how you've been using it um doesn't get it out of that hot path. It's in every call. That's what I'm starting to not like.
Ah, ah, okay. Now, that is a good point, well made. So the way I've been using it is actually very similar to. I'm going to
Okay.
grab the screen.
Yep, sure.
Right. Okay. So here's an example, and this was yesterday. It's like switchboard. So this is like PA. What's my restricted agent list? And figured it out. And it's like, your current restricted agents list is this. It was
Right.
correct. Switchboard, delete the restricted agents list. It's correct. So when I'm talking to switchboard, it is you could easily map that over to a pull down. It's like click, click,
Yeah. All right.
click.
So what about this then? If I modify the UI so that there's some sort of a lozenge or an indicator as to which bot you're talking to, and then when you want to switch, you talk to switchboard as opposed to switchboard intercepting everything.
The only reticence I've got with that, yes, I mean that's fine.
Yeah.
But again, my ideal it would be walking up and down with the office with just audio
Right.
and say switchboard, do this, which would be the equivalent of clicking switchboard on a lozenge
Right.
and then typing something out.
Okay. So you actually want it to intercept sometimes. So you want to actually continue to have it process all requests. You just really wish for it to be accurate in when it detects that it was summoned as opposed to it should have just so you would be happy if it had a more background role where it came to the surface more infrequently.
Yes, and not necessarily, automatically, assume what you're doing. Because if you, again, on the analogy, a PA, if I'm working on my Rock and Josh recipe, and then say, right, and you stop that, I want to work on the CRM. The PA is sitting there and going, would you like me to bring in the hammer agent? It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so
So
these are the things that it is not good enough for you to come up with these things and tell me about them because you know them very well, but you haven't captured them in a test. So how would I know that this is what you want? This is a very complex component. Would you agree? The switchboard.
I would agree. So, well, let's see if I've got an example here. Uh, what did I say here? Restricted agents. Right, right. You look at this. I want to work on the CRM. A good PA would then say, right, you want to talk to Hammer. And it did it. And it's like, you are now working with the CRM. Thank you very much. How can I assist you with your tasks related to CRM? That is very low cognitive load. It's like, I want to work on the CRM. You know that your PA knows what the CRM is. I haven't called it Hammer. I've just said I want to work on the CRM. The Hammer is defined as the CRM, and so it's like, yeah, we'll do that. That's really quite useful because you're directing what you want to do. You haven't said switchboard.
Yes, that is useful. How confident are you that you can make switchboard respond correctly to these types of inferred or implied instructions?
I'm pretty confident now.
Hang on. So hang on. Well, no. Hang on a minute, buddy.
Actually, well, okay. Incredibly confident, not confident.
Incredibly confident. No. Okay.
We're not. We haven't. We don't have a metric for confidence. But
well, are you not confident or confident? And you must pick one.
I'm confident that it already does that.
Well, it doesn't. But it doesn't do that because you haven't tested it. My problem with this particular component is the time that you've spent on it, coupled with the the number of times. What?
So the heart of things, isn't it? Yeah. So
it's the how hot this component is. Like every single thing touches this thing, and so a fault in this part makes the entire system look bad.
So, can you give me some examples of where it looks bad?
In just a second. I haven't finished listing all the problems with it.
Okay.
The other problem is that it is such a major problem that we both agreed the other day that OpenAI must surely be working on this problem.
We projected that, but it seems reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah. But what that means is that any time we spend on a component that is going to be replaced or superseded by OpenAI is wasted time. Now, if I take those three things and multiply them together, and I say that the behavior of switchboard so deeply shapes the connection between our users and our system, because it's in everything that it does. It will influence the way that we program, the way that we promote, the way that we do everything will be influenced by this component, sometimes a little, sometimes a lot, but because everything runs through it, everything will be touched by it. And then we've got OpenAI is going to release something that isn't going to be an exact drop-in. Most likely it's going to be the same but different. and we will have to adapt. We will have to unwind everything.
Okay, so here's a thought. We
Does
don't know.
does what I said make sense to you? Is that a
Yes,
fair and
yes,
logical set of steps? Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, and because
Now,
we'd be stacking, 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 and then this little bit down the bottom is like, oh, that changed. Okay, now
yeah,
we've lost more than just the time to reintegrate. We've lost all the thinking that was dependent on things that were dependent on things that depended on switchboard. That's bad.
yes. Okay,
Very bad.
so this is not rebuttal. This is an exploration of that point, which is a good point, well made. Now we don't know what OpenAI is actually doing.
That's not a defense.
No, it is an assertion. Um, what we do know, and I can express and write down in tests, is what I would like the
Okay.
functionality that Switchboard offers in a kind of half-assed way at the moment, but
Yep.
is what I would like.
What you'd like. That would
Yes.
solve half my problem, right? Because if I
Right.
can agree with you that what you'd like it to do is actually a feature worth bleeding for, then cool.
Right. But
But
also, sorry,
no,
just to
you
finish
have
the
the floor.
thought.
Yeah.
So if I define what I'm after, in effectively an AI PA who understands and has listened to everything and you don't need to give detailed instructions to every time. She just gets you, or he just gets you. Then we can compare what OpenAI does with the version we've got, and swap it in. Now, if OpenAI just doesn't do that, we don't know. We think it's probably going to do that. Maybe it's just going to decide, actually, we're not going down that route. We're going to do something that nobody's ever
True.
heard of.
Yep. Yep.
At least we've got something to compare it with.
Right. And we would have had useful functionality all that way if we agree
Yeah.
that the tests you lay out are worth having in the system.
Yeah. So what I need to do in order to follow that train of thought is define how I'm using it in terms of functionality of this kind of AI PA who's just hovering around, listening to everything you're doing, carries out tasks when they're really obvious, when
I
they're
think
not obvious.
hang on.
Step
You're
in.
starting to sell the functionality to me. I don't care. I care
Yeah, yeah.
about it being put into
But
tests.
there's a list. But there's a list
Yeah, there's a list.
of
Yeah.
things that I'd like to see.
Right.
Now that gives us a way to compare an OpenAI drop and saying, does it
Yeah,
just do
but
this?
again, now
Or
the issue
what we do?
becomes like the amount of time that you're spending on it and the hindrance it presents to us in this immediate short term is that in the meantime, while you're working on Switchboard, Hammer's not being built at
Right. Okay.
the rate
So
that
I
it
can.
could be. In the
I can.
meantime, I'm wrestling with Switchboard because I'm like, I just want to talk to O1 Preview. That's it. I don't want to do anything more than that, but I can't because this bitch keeps fucking changing me to things.
Well. Okay. So. I'm quite happy to not do any more work on Switchboard because I think it's pretty good. It doesn't do everything, but it's pretty good. On your second point, if we pull up a new one,
Rip up a new one, yeah.
yeah, no, let's do it. All right.
You can, if you press Control Y, you will get a brand new thread in a new window. Sorry, I meant to tell you that I did tell you that I put that in, but I haven't.
It didn't work. That was Control Y.
Control Y. What?
Yeah.
What?
Sorry. No, sorry.
What?
That was Command Y because I'm wearing a headset. I got it wrong.
There you go.
Okay, so your thing is you don't want to search around with.
I want to talk
these other
to just
boxes.
O1, and I
Okay.
want to be talking to O1.
Oh, fucking hell, I hate typing in. Switchboard. And create a restricted list with only one.
Yeah, but
Okay. Now you can only talk to O1. Well, actually, technically speaking, you can also talk to switchboard and files, but you're only talking to O1. So, for example, if I were to say,
yeah, but now you
take me
just
to
you just added something in my thread too. You know, like I want to start with a blank thread.
yeah, but what? Okay. Why didn't that work? Oh, I haven't cleared it. Okay.
This is sort of proving my point. This is proving my point. You're the guy that made it, and you're having trouble driving it. Think how the
Well,
fuck I
no,
feel.
no.
Think how I feel.
I'm using the old version. That's why it's not working. It's the old version. So you bring it up, right?
Oh,
You
okay.
take
All
over the
right.
screen
Let me
and do the
calm
same thing.
myself down and let you proceed again with the new version.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just an incognito would work, right?
I think so. Why don't you just clear your
Or I could
settings though?
you showed me the other day. Where was it?
Application. There might be some other way to do this. You got to click the arrows. Yep. Application
And then clear storage.
storage. Yeah, there might be some easier way to do this, but I really don't know it, and we shouldn't have to worry about this for that much longer.
Clear site data. Is
Yep.
that right?
Yep, that's right. And then start yourself a new thread, and you could confirm it by checking the contents of the. I think you got to. Yeah, you could confirm it by checking the contents of the agent's switchboard file.
Yeah.
To know for sure.
Yeah. Show me.
Wait. Just why don't you just browse to it? Just browse to it. Don't ruin the thread. You're dirtying the freaking context window. God.
What's
Yeah.
stop working?
Because you got to zoom out. You got to zoom out. It's a long story. But you know what? I'm gonna back off. I'll let you just do it your way. My bad.
Zooming in, wrong way.
It's because when you click it, it resizes the window, which breaks the selection model. It's
all right.
It's a stupid problem. I just haven't got around to fixing it, and it only appears on small screens.
I got you. Give me 2 seconds. What I'm gonna do is
if you click that magnifying glass, you'll get it.
I've got a better way that works.
A better way? Oh dear.
I do have a better way. Well, it's by better I mean something that works for me but nobody else. Oh, fucking hell. Okay. No, forget that. Too much effort. Sort of. Okay. Sorry.
So if you click that magnifying glass in the top right, by the star, click that, and now you can control your zoom there. Just if you zoom out one more notch. Now, whoa, easy. Now you should be good. You should be good there, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's have a look at Suchi.
I'm gonna fix that. I just got this mountain of like little niggly little fixes.
Yeah, don't worry about it. There's a workaround. It doesn't have the priority rules. Okay.
So that's all good. Okay.
That looks correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay.
You can get the size of the thing back by if you deselect switchboard. So click on that in the Files Explorer. Click on anything different other than the switchboard file. Yeah, there you go.
Got it. Okay. Now
Sorry.
where was it? Switch.
Bitchboard. Show me.
Boards. Oh, fucking hell. Boards. add O1 to my restricted list. Oh, I don't care. It'll work out the typos. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Understood. Okay. Now, if I were to say,
Meaning you can no longer interact with that agent. What? I will add O1 to your restricted list, meaning you can no longer interact with that agent.
oh, hold a second. That's not right.
That doesn't sound
There
right.
are other agents you would like to restrict. Hold a second.
It's like it.
No. I think.
I feel like this is proving my point. I mean, it's.
I know.
And I
sorry,
can
but
feel that you don't
show
like
me
it,
the
but
restricted list of agents. Well, that didn't work. It was working about an hour ago. I don't know why.
yeah. So anyway, this
Okay,
is this is
right,
really
anyway,
my
so
point,
what
right? This is my
your
point.
main point is we're spending too much time on this, right?
Yeah, and it's getting in the way. It's getting in the way of absolutely everything. I will
Yeah.
concede to you that you see value in it. There might be value in it. If you wrote down and test what you want it to be, then at least we can agree what the value is. Whether or not we can achieve the value is a totally separate issue, but at least with tests we can know when we are hitting it or not. And I think that if the switchboard wasn't there right now and it was demoted to just being another agent that you could address directly using some other mechanical means, such as a forward slash or some other thing or anything, then the overall functionality of the system wouldn't be as badly impacted as having a malfunctioning switchboard in it.
Okay, so here is my suggestion then. I will write down what I've been trying to achieve with switchboard
Okay.
as a stuck. And if you can address through other means, forward slash, whatever,
Yeah.
even part of that, then that's great.
Okay.
If OpenAI drops something from the blue sky and just solves it for us, then that's great. We'll give them contribution recognition for that.
Well, we'll
Well,
lick our
they
wounds and
probably don't
integrate
even-
it.
They probably
It's
don't give a
basically.
shit, but yeah. But until there's something that, well, how about this? I can prioritize the things that I'm using switchboard for, because some of them would be actually quite jarring to not have.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
access
I think that switchboard, if it was demoted back to an agent that you could address directly by means of some other form of manual addressing, the thing is, whenever I've observed you interacting with switchboard or any of these agents, you always know the agent by name. You're always able to address it. And if you're able to do that,
Yes.
then we can either put a forward slash like this, where you go, you might go forward slash reason or whatever, or, and I'll suggest this reluctantly, we could put a really dumb switchboard that only does what that forward slash command would have done. So it doesn't try to be clever, it doesn't try to interpret, it just bluntly follows a command. It's like, if I say I'm talking to this bot, you take me to that bot and you stay there until fucking hell freezes over. And then,
Okay.
you know, like,
Well, okay, so let's think.
see,
about
because this forward
So if I
slash,
were
like
to-
this forward slash is pretty fucking cool, right? It's a power feature. Like, you need to know about it. But when I have it, I'm like, forward slash, and then I would have all of my. What the fuck is going on here? Why does it show up in? This feels like, yeah. if I go, / switchboard /01 /40, that feels pretty fucking solid to me because I can go reason, and then I get this visual cue that reason is happening. Uh, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I just
It
the
it it
it's
does.
too
It
soon.
does.
It's too soon for
It's
switchboard to sit front of house.
I think you've just hit it on the head, isn't it? So, what I've got in my head with a switchboard is getting in the way.
Yeah,
Um, I'm convinced that it would be awesome.
I think you're right.
Um,
I think you're right, but it isn't awesome now, and
yeah,
that's bad.
and it's getting in the way.
Yeah.
So, how about this? I will express what I wanted from switchboard in terms of must, could, shoulds, must nots,
Mm-hmm.
and that will give us something that's like stated as a stuck.
Yep.
We can do it now. Now,
Oh
I would
no,
like to
no,
consider.
no, no! I don't want that.
No,
I don't want
no.
that. Please, may
Okay,
I have the test format that we've discussed so that I can execute it? I can't execute a must, could,
okay,
shoulds, woulds. I
okay.
can
All right.
execute
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can
prompts and
translate it across.
expectations. Prompts and
Yeah,
expectations I can execute on.
yeah. Okay. So I give you a bunch of tests, which effectively is translated over from
Yep.
um, on those things. And although no, that's a separate topic. So Maxwell.
You see what I'm saying
Uh,
though with the must, should, coulds. Like I can't execute that. I can't automate that testing. I
right.
can't.
So we've never really talked about what the format of a stuck is, but a stuck, you're saying or implying, is a bunch of tests that you want to have passed.
Yeah, I think that's the simplest form. It's like here's
You
a
pass
thing that should
this,
run
and
that doesn't.
you solve the stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean that's probably if the stuck is like, oh, I can't do this. It's really high level. Then that's just one
Well,
test. If you can do that,
yeah. Like
then you get more and more exact.
I'd
Oh,
challenge you to
that's
find a reasonable counterexample that is a stuck that you can't express as a test.
um. I would like
I wouldn't do it now.
workflows.
I wouldn't do it. I'm not. This is muddying the waters completely. Like
Yeah,
this is
yeah, yeah.
starting
No,
to.
no. But this is another topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so the because we've got other things to go talk about. Okay, so what I'll do is express what my hopes and dreams that you've just dashed on the rocks of
Of progress,
empathy and
the cruel grind of progress is what crushed your dreams, my friend.
yeah, I'll express those and as tests, and then what I would say is if we can keep switch in for now because I'm
So you
actually
mean
using
the
it
thing that
until there's something that you can replace it with, like forward slash, you know.
okay, why can't you replace the current switchboard with a really dumb down prompted version that acts like a / would, which saves me having to do the /.
Sure. Ethics, but no. Killing switchboard, man. Really?
Fuck switchboard. That motherfucker has ruined my day on a number of occasions.
I've started to look.
Switchboard makes it impossible to demo the system because you
All right,
start
okay.
trying to do something and you're like, watch this, watch that. Oh, what the hell? Create a bot? No!
So if
And
I
you just look
wrote
stupid.
a real dumb bot that said intercept anything with a forward slash as the very first character, the next string is to be interpreted with this list of agents, and
Yep.
you are to switch to that and just bugger off. Don't do anything else.
Yep. If you like, what I can do for you is I can present to you a format where I can say that the string that you get, that's too small to see, sorry. The string that you get could be, I could format it for you. So it'd be like blah, 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 bot. 01, and then blah 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 blah. The rest, and then the rest is user prompt. Well, that came out horribly wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, there's no need for that because it's already displaying which bot you're talking to.
Well, no, because it saves me having to build a / component. So that
No, because at the moment, correct me if I'm wrong, switchboard intercepts everything.
yes,
We can tell switchboard to do anything. So I'll just say, if your thread, the last prompt starts with a /, do this. If it doesn't, ignore it.
okay.
I think that would work, wouldn't it?
That's about as dirty, simple as it can be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I'll write the test for what was after. We're aiming down to the happy glad lands with lots of deer and milk and honey, and we can like chip away at that.
Chip away at it, yeah,
See
absolutely.
what AI does,
And then we
but
can.
it's not going to get in the way.
Yep.
And it's probably going to do about 40% of what it wants to do anyway, just having a /, and then we can get on with
Yeah,
the other stuff. that we need to get.
because other things are falling behind. Like, we're not in the CRM. The switchboard concept extends to the CRM. We need the switchboard concept there, but we gotta just run with this dirty version because it turns out that switchboard is an incredibly elegant component that is not for the faint of heart. And we can't be relying on getting a highly advanced component up before we have lower level components, so we need a way to defer it.
Yeah, we're wearing a sequined silk dress when we're in the pig trough of
Yes.
the mud.
Something like that.
Okay. All right, I concede this point, although it pains my heart.
Good.
Okay.
Good for both reasons.
This will not be the last time we talk. We will come back to it, but maybe in a year's time or something.
Sounds good, buddy.
Because
If you can get those tests up and you can pass all the tests, then I would support adding switchboard again.
Okay, all right, and I'll get the lobotomized bot that used to be called switchboard up. That will be trivial to do. Okay, right. Thus ends the trial of a switchboard.
Rest in peace, switchboard. See you soon. What else was there? So, a dumb bot and some user knowledge where you have to use a / when you want to switch, and we will demote switchboard to being another agent, and so you can go / switchboard and then talk to switchboard.
Yeah, so the / is that in the prompt, or is that something you're handling with? So
that's in the prompt. The bot needs to handle that.
Right, so everything's going through switchboard, but all it's looking for is the /.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
And then that means that the mechanics of that being an AI call is still kept in our system, so that once basically the day that switchboard becomes intelligent enough, we can just turn it back on and it'll all just work again.
Right. That is painfully simple to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now what else was there?
First,
I will need to add for you a function that enables the switchboard to be changed. So, for example, if I go / switchboard, hey, can you switch me to the bot that talks about the CRM or something? Then the intelligent switchboard should be able to fill in the role of what the / interpreter switchboard would have done and switch your bot. Right?
Okay, so
right?
So it's still self-aware to some extent. You haven't completely lobotomized it.
I just moved it out of the hot path.
Right. So
it needs to be explicitly called
/ hammer. No discussion. Take me to hammer.
No discussion. Straight into hammer. Right.
Yeah.
/
switchboards.
Yep.
Take me to the CRM. It will interpret that and go and then put you into hammer.
No, it'll interpret. If you go / switchboard, it'll go no questions asked. You're talking to switchboard. Then switchboard would receive the remainder of the prompt, which is, I want to talk to hammer, switchboard would then decide, oh, he wants to talk to the Hammer bot, and then that switchboard would have been able to call a function that would have switched you over to.
I don't understand why we need an extra function for that, because I'm pretty sure I could prompt that. What's the
No, because the switchboard as it is now just got moved off the hot path. It gets switched to and is treated like any other agent. The switchboard runs in a privileged position right now.
Right.
Everything
so
goes to it.
It's not intercepting everything.
Nah. The switchboard has been bumped out to be just another agent, but I want to be able to give it the power to act like the switchboard of old if you spoke to it directly, and because you want to be able to keep developing it when you think of new things or try new things, right? So we need to give it some power, but it needs to be done by a function.
Right. Okay. So do / hammer.
Yeah.
That's your partnership.
Okay. So why don't you give me those tests that say what switchboard does. You give me that bot that does the / thing, and then I'll implement functions that can be called by the / processor or by switchboard that will change the target bot using a function call so that it sticks not because of context, but it sticks because it changed data in the system. It changed system state. And that means that any bot can technically call on the switchboard and switch what the next bot is if it's given access to that function and it decides it's the right thing to do. Which I think is better than what you got right now, I think.
Reluctantly, I think you might be right.
So
/ switchboard. I could have anything under switchboard. I could just
You can carry the party on, right? Yeah.
But / is intercepted.
Special. And no / is just passed straight through to whatever the current system state configures the bot to be.
Yes.
Okay. So if you go / switchboard and then switchboard doesn't call the switching function, you'll keep chatting with switchboard until switchboard decides it's time to call that function or until you hit /.
Right, exactly. So actually we could keep switchboard as is. Preview.
Yeah.
Because you can always say switchboard, you're a bit shit. / this is the bot I'm talking to.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
Right. And then as the functionality of switchboard becomes more well-rounded, more well-tested, more accepted, then we can maybe promote it back to front of house again. Maybe.
Right. Or if OpenAI just does it for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I do not for a second disagree that switching of agents is the future.
Yes, and switching of agents in context is the future. But you're right, is wearing a sequin dress inside
it's too fancy.
Mud shit.
It's too fancy, and we the humans know what we want to switch to now. It's just,
and your pull down lozenge thing would just be a /
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to have this sort of fanciness in there, although, we might, but I just don't like making UIs. And I hope that your switchboard can come to the party at some point and then we won't need this.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay, so just to round that off, at the moment I'm doing nothing because we don't have that intercept / isolate or, artifact function. As soon as we got that, then I still don't need to do anything because then what was previously handled by the intercept on switchboard, you're just going to demote switchboard to another bot.
Yep.
And the / does it all for you, but you can still talk to switchboard. And switchboard can still do its thing, but only if you choose to do it. Okay. Right, so all I've got to do is to write down now and capture what I was trying to do with switchboard.
Yep.
Which is make it this super intelligent PA that just like gets you, and you don't need to explain yourself every time.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Happy with that.
Okay, sweet.
Now, hold a second. On your
Oh,
notes
no. What now?
No. You just said SM to do the / interpreter, but I didn't mention anything about an interpreter for that. I thought that was at the artifact level.
Well, what?
So
No, that's going to be a bot,
name.
because that's you need to make us a very simple prompt, or I can make one and then pass it back to you for polish. But I'm going to make the system function that does the switching under the hood that the bots can call to enable the current switchboard, once demoted, to be able to do genuine switching.
All right. So,
but I need a filler. I need a filler bot that gets called and calls this system function in response to a /.
Okay. So you make the system function. The prompt will be simplistic. Actually, probably I'll just roll back to switchboard.
Yeah, but it does need to have a list of agents, because it still needs the power to speak, so that if you go / Timbuktu, it would go, shit, I need to talk to this guy. If you go / Timbuktu, it should send you to switchboard. And switchboard would be like, what the fluff are you talking about? Here's the list of agents that you can have. What do you want to do? Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah. So the first thing is, in order to actually do anything with that, is you get the system function in. I'll do the interpreter prompt.
Yep.
I'll leave switchboard just as is, because it's about to be demoted.
Yeah, it's going to become a peer rather than the owner of everything. So why don't I make those changes in HAL right now, so that we can agree on a name?
Unwire the intercept thing that switchboard currently has. The privileged position.
I'm just going to move the path. So
okay, that's the same thing. You need to get.
But I need a replacement, right? And so the replacement is going to be, what's the name of this new prompt? Is it switchboard?
No, well, let's not confuse it by renaming it. What is it? Router, I guess.
Router.md. Yep.
No. Router. Router is the wrong way of
Well, where I come from, a router is someone that goes around shagging a lot. So a router is something that finds a path to something.
Bloody Williams.
Mate, you invaded us. We were busy. We didn't even know what a router was until you turned up. So we take it. Right. We believe what you tell us. I mean,
and what's the basic?
So the basic prompt is going to be: I'm going to give you a function that doesn't currently exist, but it's going to be called. I think it's going to be called switch. It's going to be under the agents isolate, and it's going to be called. It'll just be the same function, switch, but I will modify that file to actually hard change the state in the system, so that another bot can call that, and it will trigger the bot switch under the hood.
Okay.
So a user can cause the bot switch by calling / and that's the only way that the user can cause the bot switch, or any other bot that is given access to the agent switch command can also switch the bot anytime it likes.
Okay. Well,
and that enables switchboard to continue as is, provided it was summoned with a /.
Right. Okay.
And then the second issue we'll have to deal with is to keep the lists of these agents in sync. So when a new bot gets added,
that was on the to-do list anyway.
Yeah, but I think what you want to actually do is you want to maintain an info file, and then link to the info file so that it gets pulled in every time, and that way you're only maintaining one list.
Yes, but there's some that, like files, agent, you
Yeah.
wouldn't ever want to be without. So there's some that you always
Well,
want.
no, this is
And
a
then you,
concept of yours that's sort of like uh, the switchboard bot needs to be aware of all of the agents that it could choose from. That's independent from the bots that it is currently narrowed to or restricted to.
yes.
Right? That's a different concept.
The thing is, so at the top level, when you're just talking to, your fresh system, you want access to all the bots.
Yep.
But when you're talking to Hammer, there might be an account bot, but you don't want access to any others. So it's a kind of restricted list.
So you're saying that when I'm in Hammer and I hit / you want to, I can't
Yeah.
be in Hammer and then go / recipes.
Right, because what you want to do is when you're
Nah,
working in
dude,
Hammer,
that's bad.
you're in
Nah,
Hammer.
no, that's bad. The / should
Because
jump me out anywhere.
um,
Because otherwise, how do I get out of Hammer?
because you just go right um, / how or whatever your home bot is. So you're talking to a bot at the
That's
top.
crazy.
It's
I
the
would,
system bot.
I would be busy in the CRM, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I gotta, book my dry cleaning, and then I don't want to have to be like, / home bot. Okay, and now home bot. I want to get out. Now dry cleaner. I know what I want. I want to go / dry cleaner. Get me the fuck out of here. I know what I want.
Okay. So
Don't
dry
be rude to
cleaner.
me. Don't lock me. Why did you lock me into Hammer? Like, I didn't ask for that. I want to be free. I am a human with ADHD. I want to rampantly go between bots as fast as my little processor will take me.
So every bot, no matter
Every
what you're
bot,
talking
every
about,
time.
knows every other bot.
No, I know every bot, or I know who to talk to if I don't quite know.
Yeah, but the / is the thing that gets you out.
Yeah,
/ knows about every bot.
that's right. And if I correctly declare the right bot, you should take me there because I damn
Yep,
well said,
yep, yeah. But
right?
that's different from if you're inside Hammer
Yeah.
and you're working inside a Hammer, and Hammer wants to call another bot. It should only know about the bots it
Oh, that's
should
different.
know
That's
about.
not the /. Yeah, but those limits are separate, and so you would have to hand code those in, and I would expect that list, the list of bots that Hammer knows how to call, would absolutely have no overlap with the list of bots that / can call,
Oh
because
yes, because you always go through Hammer in order to
yeah,
talk to
yeah, 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 yeah.
everything
Yeah.
sub to
And
Hammer.
so what I
Okay.
think you want is in the info file over let me pull it up over here. You want to go into HAL and you want to say info, help me name it. Would it be agents list.md?
Yeah.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
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 And then what the contents of this should be is I go into switchboard, I grab
Well, they're like symlinks, aren't
holy
they?
shit, this is a big ass fucking list. I grab this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big list, buddy.
Well,
Cut it out. I drop it in here.
ideally, it should be a symlink where each of the descriptions about what this particular agent does is a separate file, and you just symlink in it at any point. So at the top level, you
Yeah,
symlink
I know what you mean, but I don't know how to do that. And if you can make do with this model, I would appreciate it, because
we can do it with cut and paste. It's just when it gets
what cut and paste? What do you mean? Oh, like yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think how that's going to go is actually there's a generator function that runs through periodically and then rebuilds that list, because otherwise you can't have it be something that needs intelligence in the agent itself, because the agent needs to just sort of load. I mean, it could be a nice function, like how I'd been saying. I'll give you that feature where inside the agent you can make a function call. We
Mm.
could make that be something that reads in all of the agent files and just pulls in the description. Why don't we
Yeah,
aim for that?
yeah, yeah. That'll work.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then you'd inside switchboard you'd be like list of available. Holy crap! How do I even
It's not just me then.
available agents? And then the path to that is info slash agents list.md, and in that way, switchboard as it was will pull in that thing
Yeah,
when it's running, and agents list is the thing that you keep updated. And then if I'll add the router in here now so that we both know what that we're talking about the same thing.
yeah.
Router.md
You know, a
commands.
router is literally someone who runs away from a battle, right?
What?
Just saying.
Agents switch, and then it would have the same thing in it, I think. Right? It's like blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. And so inside how, what do we got? That's good. Switchboard, I modified a bunch of stuff. Oh, there goes your formatting. And I removed all that. Cool. And then, yeah, okay. So that is now demote switchboard until it proves itself worthy
Oh, that's harsh.
again. Okay, there you go. There's that. Yeah. So that's that, right?
Okay, all right. So the next thing I'm doing is doing the rules so that we've got those. Oh, sorry, the tests.
Yep.
So that we've got those, and we can come back to them.
Well, we can start running them because we've got switchboard, and we'll start
Yeah,
running those tests against switchboard. Like this is
sure.
the
Yeah,
the thing I really desperately want to get up and standing this week is the tests that run that
yeah.
that run against these bots, because we got enough bots that we need tests now. Um, what 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 is the next thing that you want to do for the CRM?
So the CRM is the last change I made. I think it was about 2 days ago, which is add the folder structure.
Add the folder. Oh, right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. What do you need from me for that?
I don't think I need anything for you because it seems to work quite nicely. What I need to do is to, instead of all customers being in one file per customer,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's
I
right.
think that would just work.
Okay.
And then after that, it is just about the business rules and the logic behind it, and to remove the permissions, because permissions are still in there, but those are now handled by the by Artifact with your login situation. Now, I can remove those now. That'd be easy, so everyone can do everything.
Yeah, everything just to get us going. Because
Yeah,
permissions is a massive pain, and like we'll add them
yeah,
in. I think it's totally fine to add them in later.
yeah. So I'll remove the permissions, add in the individual files, and then the only next thing is I've completely made up the business rules. So then we're at the point of, well, let's see how it's used, because
All right,
it might be
so
wrong.
that sounds cool. Sounds like you don't need anything from me.
Not really. There's a few things coming down the pipe that are obvious, which is if you're talking about a route, you're probably talking about a map. Whereas
Yep.
at the moment I've got completely synthetic data in there that makes no sense.
So what do you need? So this week I want to get the map displaying. So what do I make? Actually, I will write down and declare my plans. I'm gonna get the map displaying in Stateboard. I'm gonna need from you some work to integrate the Stateboard control to the bots. Like for example, when Files does things, it has a habit of spewing back summaries and contents of files into the thread. But
Oh, to
really,
entail it. Yeah, no, that's not straightforward enough. Yeah.
no,
You mean instead of giving you the exact, JSON or whatever format you need, it gives extra helpful narrative.
no, that
Is that what
that
you're
is
talking
not at all what I'm talking about.
about? Okay.
It needs to know how to make a function call to the Stateboard to show the file on the Stateboard, and it needs to be confident that that is showing the human.
I had you up to showing the human. Showing the human what? I don't understand.
If Files gets an instruction, hey, show me the contents of switchboard.md,
Yeah.
at the moment it will read it and then talk about it. So it does a tool call and then it does its summary, which can sometimes be verbatim.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What it needs to be modified to is we need to figure out how to make these agents Stateboard aware, because the correct output from Files should have been a call to the Stateboard function saying show this file. And then that would show up in the UI as the
Oh,
file,
okay.
and Files would be like, there you go. And that's it.
Okay.
Because the
Yeah.
whole file is now showing, right? And that type of integration with the agents is deep, and it's kind of a scary amount of work, because now with the router needs to know, it's like, hey, I want to change some routes, and the router's like, Stateboard show routes day 1, day 2, day 3. Like it needs to call the Stateboard function as opposed to trying to just use the thread as its terminal display or its UI.
Yeah. Ooh.
Right? That's heavy. That's a heavy one.
That's non-trivial, but yes, doable. I think.
Yeah.
Really, that comes down to pistol whipping it into obedience.
Right. Also, it may not need as much pistol whipping if we use O1 Mini, because I think O1 Mini, whilst it can't call functions, yeah. Sorry, look, I'm just theorizing. I think the way to do it is that this is a major architectural integration, because it changes how you prompt, and it changes every bot that is going to be given Stateboard access needs to have its prompt modified, which is a vast amount of pain. So we should approach this by getting the testing going, I think, because if we get the tests that allow us to have an expectation that the Stateboard should have been called and it should have had these parameters, then we can work on the prompt with more effectiveness.
Yeah, but we also kind of need to know that what was displayed was what was asked for.
What? Well, why wouldn't it be?
You're saying we need to test that the Stateboard being called with the right parameters.
Yes.
Then the Stateboard test. Oh, well, that'll be on your side of the fence,
Yeah, that
I
bit
guess.
doesn't matter. That's actually a really nice decoupling because it's a separate area of concern. Provided the
Yeah.
stateboard function was called correctly, testing that the display was correct is traditional software, and that's my problem.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
But
So,
but your problem is, did you call it correctly
yeah.
at the right time with the right parameters?
The thing is, at the moment, with the tests we've got, here is the prompt. Here is, well, here's a number of prompts. Here's the expected response. But we're not saying that because the expected response is on the stateboard. Now, what we could do
No,
is,
it's simple. I was worried about that too at the start, and then I realized it's very
uh,
simple because you're just simply checking that a tool call was made and what the parameters of the tool call were. That's it.
okay, so in the test runner, where's that intercepted? That's
Well, the test that
if you make a prompt.
the assessor gets given the entire thread in JSON format, so
Mhm.
that's really not a problem.
So you're not. There's no expected response. What you're
No,
doing is the prompt correct?
did the bot make the function call correct?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm thinking about prompt. Bots can also prompt. Um, so if the call is correct, which is assume that's offloaded and
Yep,
that's all fine, and
yep.
here's the format that you should have called.
hmm
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And then
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's plenty good enough, I think, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm.
Okay.
All right,
Great.
so that's
Yeah.
a big that's a big change for us. I need to get the testing framework up for well, we'll start with switchboard, and then I will do a test demonstration of state chart, state board function call testing.
Test demonstration of stateboard function call testing. Yes.
Yeah, and then okay, I reckon I can get the testing framework up this week. Um, the thing I ideally want to finish, and I'm open to you telling me that it's actually a waste of time, is the Branch Explorer. Branch Explorer version 0 point shitty. Um, because once we have that, then we can explore the tests when they run, because the tests run in a large number of branches. So the Branch Explorer lets you walk the branch and read the contents of the test output rather than only relying on just what the TPS report was.
That's the very nice thing with testing. So we get some tests up.
Yeah,
You can't rely on the TPS
right.
because the question that immediately comes to mind is like, well, so what? It failed. Yeah.
Yeah, show me the failure, like,
Right.
right, and
Yeah.
you want
So
to
as
be
soon
able
as
to
you want
step
to
into it.
actually fix the situation, you need to be able to step into it.
Yeah, okay. So Branch Explorer is
Yeah.
still number one priority. Yeah.
No, testing framework.
Well, you can't. Okay. Why don't I? Can I? Can I finish the Branch Explorer? Because
Yeah.
I'm almost there. I think I got another half day to a day on the Branch Explorer,
All right.
and
Yeah.
then the crappy version's up, and then I'll move to. You want testing framework before you want map, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that's a week's worth of work for me if I also include all the tiny little details that I gotta fix as you find fault.
Right. Grand. Okay.
What are your plans for the week?
Well, I can. Well, I'll do the tests for the switchboards, get those down. Do the forward slash interpreter, which won't come online until you do the system function call.
Yep.
After that, then using the current switchboard, which I can use, but it's just not very friendly and so on.
Yep.
I'll go into Hammer I think Hammer, very first thing will be, well, let's hone it. Let's strip out permissions, make sure it's self-coherent, and then generate a whole bunch of tests. I know that's the wrong way around, but nevertheless, generate a whole bunch of tests and then retrofit those into any weirdness that comes out of actual usage. And probably in order to do that, I'll create a couple other bots. One, like a customer, and custom agent, and get them to try and fuck with the system, real time as opposed to tests. May or may not do that bit, but it's going to be Hammer, strip down, tests. And then
So are you saying that you will be, one way or another, writing tests for Hammer, and then as I get this testing framework up, then we'll start running those Hammer tests in that testing framework?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Until the testing framework is up, probably what I'll do is I'll put up a couple Scratch bots who pretend to be customers and try and fuck with it.
Okay, I have another demo scheduled with the trucking guys. It'll probably be Wednesday. I've been talking to them, and because their busy season's coming up, they are going to be, what happens is they will start screaming for this functionality. And so to avoid them having random meltdowns about where we're at, I've scheduled a weekly catch up with them, so it's like every week we'll show you where we're at, as opposed to just wondering or me picking a time and then missing it or whatever. I'm just like, every week we'll show you where it's at. Wednesday is that day, so that is your Wednesday night. So your Thursday would be basically the day.
Sorry, my Wednesday night.
My bad. So Tuesday. Sorry, your Tuesday is the last day that you get before I go into testing, because your Tuesday night's my Wednesday morning.
Got it.
Yeah. So what I think I should do is I think I should at least put the map into Hammer, so that there's a UI piece that can. Are you able to somehow give me the navigation of Hammer is really what Switchboard did, right? Switchboard is the navigator that lets you move around the system, which would be equivalent to picking a tab in traditional software. The Switchboard does kind of what the tabs would do for an application. The big different areas of an app that when you go into them, you're designed to be there at the exclusion of all the other areas.
Yes, but Switchboard is at the moment not necessarily on Hammer.
Well, let me get to where I'm. I don't care about the comparison with Switchboard. What I do care about is the navigation methods within Hammer. We don't have that laid out. I had just assumed that there would be a Switchboard-like thing within Hammer that would let you navigate around. Can you tell me how the navigation works in Hammer?
Well, you're talking to one bot, so you're not switching bots.
Okay. So if I'm dealing with customers and I want to switch to doing routes, how do I do that? How do I talk to the routing bot?
There is no routing bot, so it's a single bot at the moment, because we don't have the ability to pass information backwards and forwards, because there's no persistent file.
Okay, so now that there is a persistent file, is there going to be a routing bot?
By persistent, it's still only in session, isn't it? It's not persistent.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the really heavy thing that we need to actually fix, right? So should I make that like the highest thing is like persistence to file?
Yeah, because if it's going to be useful, if your laptop just dies, you bring it back up and you can save the thing, you go back in, you log in, all that kind of good stuff. You want that information to be written to something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And if you switch bots and you switch to scheduling bot, say, um, the scheduling bot has got to have the information that, maybe last night when your laptop died, that's what you're talking about. So that persistence is important. The switching between them would be handled by the slash.
So you want to use the slash function inside a hammer?
Yeah, because that kind of, if we're
So if
saying,
I'm in hammer and I use slash, how do I get my big slash to get out of hammer?
well, at the moment, everyone know when you do slash, everything, every bot that's available.
Oh, hang on. I think I know how that works. You would have been in a remote thread when you're accessing hammer. And so the forward slash in the remote thread is hammer's forward slash. And
Hmm.
if you click the cross to get out of the big red modal, to get out of the remote thread, then you're back to your base thread, home thread, health thread thing, and then forward slash goes back to any of your bots.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
And then we need to probably talk about at some point navigating back through to the remote that you went through. So effectively,
Yeah, that's easy. That's just a button at the moment,
yeah.
right?
So you're in there.
Let me.
You go to. I'm going to. Well, yeah. Actually, show me here,
I'll make
because
sure we're
what I was
talking
about
about
to
the same
say
thing.
may not be correct.
Yeah, we do indeed want to come correct here.
It's about navigating backwards and forwards.
Navigation, I think, is a way to summarize all the problems that
Yeah.
we have. So right now I'm in my home thread, and I would expect that when I go forward slash, I'll be like forward slash all the bots I know and love.
Hmm.
When I'm in hammer, hammer would cause a remote thread to open. This is an example of a remote thread. It's a thread that
So what just happened there? Can you take a step
uh,
back? You just clicked on something.
I clicked on this pill, which opened the current thread as a remote thread in a new tab.
Right. Okay. So it's like, all right, got it. So you're forking. It's like now I'm talking something else, but I'm not polluting previous. Right.
Yeah. So this is my new base thread that happened when I opened the new tab, and
Hmm.
it's only got one function, a tool call in the thread, which was change remote. That set the remote to be the address of this uh, branch that I just came from,
Hmm.
and so it gives me this purple pill that allows me to go into the remote. This thread is this thread.
Yeah. And we can deal with the oddness of having two tabs where you can actually access
The same
the
thing. Yeah, I don't think
original
that's
thread.
odd, but anyway, this is how you would interact with hammer, right? And so when you go say forward slash router,
Hmm.
then the only options available are hammer options here. And if you want to get back to having more options, you'd click the cross, then you'd go forward slash, and here you'll get switchboard, O1, 40, whatever. But when you go back to hammer, you only get hammer bots,
Yeah.
right? Now,
Yes.
this is definitely a place where um, we would want intelligent, highly intelligent switching from switchboard. But again, because we don't yet have that, we got to have this forward slash thing in the meantime, I think. But I think
Yeah.
it's still a good policy to have a default switchboard or navigator inside of hammer so that if I go forward slash and then I make no sense, then the switchboard gets called and you have a conversation with switchboard about what you're trying to do.
Well, here's a thought. Here's a thought. This might be a good kind of for now. Instead of switchboard ever switching you, it can advise you on which agent you should do forward slash, you know, insert agent name
Yeah, but
here.
if you why not just switch me if it knew?
Because it might be wrong, it might be ambiguous.
Well, what are you gonna? I don't think that's too bad because if you get it wrong, you just go forward slash what the fuck, and then like like it's not.
Okay, so
I don't think that saves us anything. I think that you're still very much hung up on the mechanics of switching. I want us to move on to the mechanics of what happens once you've switched because
okay, okay.
switching's not it's
This is a
not that important in the scheme of things. It will be solved. You froze on me. Hello, you're back. Did you just like rage quit the
um
internet there?
yeah. This is a mild thing, but one of the useful parts of switchboard is setting agents. No, yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
I'll put this into set. You right?
You're very
Oh God,
very
just give a golden solution to everything, and you are disconnected. And what? Oh man,
yeah.
oh, I've
Well,
forgotten.
that's
Shit.
just
Oh, same
okay.
thing.
So
So,
switching's very
so,
minor,
so
but someone will say will solve it. I think.
no. I wasn't saying switching was minor. Switching is actually really important. But the minor point I was saying is one of the things is understanding what you have available. So one of the prompts,
What's the
switchboard prompt
capabilities of the
handles
system?
is what can I do?
Right.
And it's like you got these bots
Right. So it's like
because by forward
the
slash
help file of the
yeah
system. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah exactly because it's like router, or we could have called that Jimmy, or we could have
Yeah, but
called it
what are
anything
you
else.
getting at here, though? Because what I'm trying to get at is that we have been overly focused on navigation, indexing, capabilities. What can you do, at the expense of the things that you actually can do. And I'm feeling nervous that we don't have a lot of the backfill. We spent a lot of time reasoning about how to navigate. I've spent a lot of time learning how to navigate with remote threads and all that. That ruined months of time. We need to focus on what do you navigate to? I think we've got navigation solved enough to work with, but we don't have much of this other stuff. Is what I'm trying to poke at here.
Okay.
Does
It
that
wasn't the
sound
point I was making completely.
okay? Okay,
But everything you just said, yeah, I agree with.
all right.
No, the point is with forward slash, we're requiring, because we're not interpreting router. If someone thinks, oh, I want to route something, we need to, give them some kind of man file saying, oh, you want to route something. Here it is. But anyway,
Okay.
I can continue
Yeah.
that.
So
I
that's
can continue.
probably
It's a prompting thing. It's
it's
just
a
another
no,
agent.
no, no.
It's like an
It's the flip side of routing. It's the unrouting, where each bot needs to know what to do when it was given a request that isn't within its purview. The bot needs to know to send you to call the switch function to switch you back to switchboard slash help slash navigator because it's like I can't do that. You're out,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
And
it's
that
like
solves the problem of the human going, what do I do now?
right.
Uh,
So what it should be is that say I'm inside the router and I go, how do I update a customer? The the router bot should be like, oh, that's not me, and then switches you up to switchboard, and then switchboard is like, hey, well, this, that, the other thing. Is that what you mean? Blah blah blah.
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So I think that we should put that in and just make it very dirty. Because so what you're saying is that you need to figure out how to do the persistence interactions with the bots. Is that right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And that once you get that, you expect that to break into several bots, one of which will be router, another one will be customer, that sort of thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Based on what your uh, topic, which we haven't done, but we'll keep
Right.
with intent. So it's like what you're trying to do. I'm
Yeah.
trying to,
Right. So how?
do
So then, at
do a
some
schedule.
point, so what I'm trying to get at here is that I want a path to get to the ability to show the map in this GUI because I've made all these little GUI elements. Yes, they're crappy, but they do show live information and they show persisted data. And so in Hammer, what I need is to be able to browse through the file explorer and see the customers, but then I want to be able to talk to the routing agent and have it call the state board to show the map. How do I do that?
Okay, let's think of a narrative on that one. So you're, let's say, talking to schedule bot,
Right.
and you say, all right, what pickup points is on the schedule?
Okay.
Now, what I'd expect is the map to pop up with, the vectors around it saying this is the route. Schedule book will have a bunch of rules around a driver can't drive more than 8 hours. And this is on the prompting side. Forget it. That's a rabbit hole. Driving distance between points. But say if we display the map, the vector, it's like, right, okay, so now I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
For now, I think just a display of what the route is would be enough, because then if you wanted to change it, you go back to schedule and say remove 0.1 or 0.5 on this one.
I can handle all of that because I actually already have those UI elements built of being able to click on a point and click delete and all that stuff. And so
and that would need delete would then need to update the file, which is in natural language.
yeah, so the other thing I need is I need to connect the selection model to the prompt. So that means to say that if I pick a location on a map, I need it to show on the input and be sent in to the input so that when the bot receives it, it knows it got more information than just the pure text, right?
That's actually quite powerful, because one of the things I think we talked about, I don't know how long ago, was if you select, say, File Explorer, if you just select a file, then
that should show up over the prompt.
That's your context, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that should be added to the prompt. Yeah. Okay.
Grep this file.
All right. So I'll make the first version of what I think that looks like, and then I'll come back to you and be like, this is how I think it works, and then you'll have to tell me how you want it sent in as the user prompt, and we'll work together to figure that one out. And
right. Yeah. But the top level I think we're agreed on is the state board. You can select a focus.
Yep.
And that focus is the thing that you're talking about in the prompt. So you don't have to say, on 0.5 delete it. You just say delete.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that, I mean, man, my week once again is looking pretty solid. So this persistence, what I'm trying to get out of you is I need to see a skeleton of what Hammer looks like so that I can start doing the UI elements and be able to show the UI elements and be able to get some feedback from the customers as to how the usage is going to go, because I'm very nervous about that, because we have designed a whole user experience for them and we've had no users. That's a problem.
I was quite nervous about that as well. That's not really a prompting thing, is it? Because the prompt at the moment is the best guess, and does a pretty good job, best guess of how they run their business without knowing much about their business at all.
Right.
So this is not a prompting thing. I think what you're asking is, given that those prompts on certain use cases, what would you expect to see in the state board and how would you interact with it?
Yeah, and the reason is that I want to be able to demonstrate some simple handcrafted
I mean, we just talked about one, right?
Schedules.
You're
Yeah,
talking about schedule. The schedule is
yeah, we just did that.
is a
Yep.
route. There's other things such as way back when one of the first things was something Dave wrote us now. What was it?
Look, it doesn't matter
A
what they are.
customer.
We got plenty. We got plenty. There's an endless
Yeah,
level. This is not what I'm trying to get at, though. I'm trying to
yeah.
get at the fact that I just need anyone that can
Well,
run through to the end, right?
let's go for the map. But the thing I was aiming at there is what am I delivering to you in order to help on the what widgets we need.
Yeah. I think you are making. Shit. You deliver agents. You are
Yeah,
working on making agents that can write to the disk.
yeah.
I then need to. When you write to the disk in a way that a map can show, you're going to be writing not in Markdown but in JSON. So I need to
Mm-hmm.
give you functions that can write JSON reliably, like with a schema. So,
Mm-hmm.
add a route, whatever. Okay, so what I think I have to do then is I have to make some very simple data update isolates, and then you and I have to work together to get that into the prompt. So why don't I make I'll make a super shitty agent that I use simply to call the isolate functions that I need to modify the data on disk so that I can show the
Mm-hmm.
map, and then I pass that back to you and say, make this prompt good and incorporate it
Mm-hmm.
in the rest of the system somehow. I don't know how you're going to do that, but that's your
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
purview.
that's yeah.
And then at that point, because that would have given me the interception points I'm looking for, right? I'm like data on disk
Yeah.
by way of JSON structured data, map display by way of a stateboard call plus the JSON data on disk, and then modification of that JSON data by using the UI widget, the UI map, to have the selection model put that back into the prompt that then
And then
goes
do the
and
next thing.
does
And
something and calls the function.
that pattern feels like, I don't know, but it feels like maps to everything we need.
It does
Um,
feel like the complete loop, eh? Like
yeah,
once you understand that loop and can do it, then you can apply that applies everywhere. That solves every problem.
because even the most extreme thing, which is, for example, um, empty the company bank account and give everyone an equal share. Um, it's like, okay, that would come up as a widget, and then you click on it, and that'll come back in, and then you say yes, do it. So that loop is okay. So you're talking about something, you get something on the stateboard, you confirm the focus, goes back to the prompt, and it's in the prompt that you actually go and say yes, or you know, um, well, you can alter the prompt at any point because you're in NL at that point, but you've got the focus of what you're talking about.
The
Yeah.
the structured data was selected using the widget, which was then included in the prompt.
Yes. Yes. And if the prompt is already knows about what the structured data
Yeah,
is, because
that's the
we've got
thing.
the
That's the thing
CRD.
that you and I are gonna
Yeah.
get dirty on is like how does the structured data come back into you to handle as part of the prompt to then cause it to be
That's interesting.
re-entered. Like it's almost like some JSON needs to come in or
It
something.
doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't sound unreasonable. I've never tried it. But effectively we're saying part of the prompt, which previously has been pure NL,
Yeah.
part of the prompt will be structured data.
Right. But then I can send in code into ChatGPT and get good responses back from code, which is the ultimate in structured data.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a problem
Right.
because it's already got the ERD, and we've got the test suite so that we know that you're passing back something, and so it should be completely unambiguous, given a structure set. That structure set effectively is the same as the focus. So you clicked on the structure set.
That's right. The
Now
selection.
you've got NL. The bot knows about the ERD, and so can interpret the structured data, and then
Right.
it's down to the model to
Well,
work out
running the rules, like
NL.
running the rules to be like, is this proposed change to the structured data legitimate?
So I was just kicking the tires on that loop, but
That's
that
the full
seems,
loop,
as
dude.
far as a pattern.
Well,
Is there anything
it's
else you
deeper than
can?
that. I think it's like there isn't. That's the three box. That's the fullness of the three box model. There
Right.
is nothing we would have, and it took us nearly a year delivered on the three box model if we can do that loop, and if we can test the whole loop as well as all the components in the loop. We have built the three box UI that we set out to do.
Right, and it even deals with quite messy stuff. So let's take a extreme
Fabulously
example
messy.
let's
The messiest
talk about
one
the
that they
math.
have is the bank reconciliation.
Yes, where people will put their wrong name and wrong
Yeah,
number and all that sort of thing.
and worse, be consistently wrong.
Yes, but interesting enough, that's one of the bits that I'm most cool with. Pretty sure we can get close.
Right.
And also, if it's too close, then you get two options, and then the user can choose between them. Because
Yeah. Using, but that could be. I guess that could be a widget. But even the messy thing. Why I love this mode of development is the messy thing can just be in chat. You're like, hey, I got 15 things that didn't work. Shall we go through them? And then you just
yeah,
like chat your way through each one, and then it's like hip, done.
yeah. Okay, good. All right. Let's see if it works.
Okay, so what? So have you got enough work to busy you on the CRM for all of the week?
I've got less work than you do. However, the next thing after hammer test generation would be to fragment the single bot we've got into further bots that are more specialized and therefore more accurate.
Does that come after persistence?
I think it comes after test generation because the tests I would just point at different bots. So if I can do it in one big thing and get the test doing it, the tests are invariant.
Right, and then you can move. You can modify the system by breaking apart the big bot, and you know that the tests work. So therefore, like you don't really care how the tests are fulfilled, right?
Exactly. And the reason we're doing that, I mean, there's an argument saying that a big bot come November or next April is not going to be a problem, but
right. I don't like
under
big bots. I just instinctively I don't like them, and for no other reason than they're hard for me to think about. It's easy for me to think about
that's
pieces,
exactly the point.
right?
Exactly
So
the point I was saying.
I don't care how good the
if it
big.
goes wrong, and you've got a big bot,
Yeah,
then you're saying
then you've got a
in the
big problem.
bots?
You're like, everything's at fault now because.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're talking about a scheduling bot, it's like, oh, I talk about scheduling. The scheduling test has failed. I know where to go to actually get my head around it,
Okay,
and
well, look, I
move
think
into it.
if you can get, here's what we can do to integrate.
Mhm.
If you can get some hammer tests up, I
Mm.
can then verify those tests against what I know about their business model
Uh-huh.
and possibly write some other ones that I think are pertinent to the system to be attempted at first or early.
Uh-huh.
And then that way we've got like a specification of the system, right? Like it's
Well,
starting to have a spec.
sounds like it. Yeah. Yeah.
And then from then on, it's just we do whatever is necessary to make those tests pass. But because the tests are solid and they don't move and they're agreed to by the users, then we've got deliverables and we're like, we can be, we're like, we're done. Or here's the rate of doneness. Here's how
Yes,
fast we're getting things done.
it's also a more reasonable thing to ask of the user is read through these tests, and all you have to do is do a tick or a cross against each. It's like, yep, yep, yep. Now, that's not the same as asking them to give a complete description of the system.
They don't, they don't, they don't have that ability, and we should never ask them for it.
Right, that's
What,
unfair. It's
yeah,
unfair,
but
isn't
it also goes against our goals of being able to rapidly change the system. So us getting the test right, the business rules right on day one, is a failure on our part because we won't get to exercise the rapidity of the change that we want. Like
it?
we
Yeah,
want to turn up with the wrong business rules and be corrected. That's really the power we're
yeah.
trying to capture here.
We need the seed rules, but that's easy enough.
They can be, yeah,
Um,
they're the same for every CRM pretty much. And
yeah, and also we can auto-generate them, which is what we've done with the rules
okay.
at the moment. So, okay, right, okay.
Now, so I got to actually insert a rushed job at the top here, which is saying something like Dreamcatcher, the venture host model,
Yeah.
right? And where's your allocation for doing that? You'd
Um,
probably want to do it. You're probably first,
uh,
right?
I mean, how do we want to do that?
Because what I want to do is, I have a good model of what I think the host should be in my head. I want to get that out on paper, and I want to also get out on paper what we think OpenAI wants from diverse data sets, so that we can all agree on what we think
Yeah.
they want and how we can be good to them and good for them. And
Yep.
then I want to be able to lay out the venture model and then hand it over to you, and you can, go
Okay.
back and
Well,
forth with me.
let's do it that way.
Yeah,
So if you kick off with the shitty version,
yeah,
then I can pick that up, uh, and then we've got something to talk about as opposed to talking to a blank sheet of paper.
yeah. So I'll do version 0.1, pass it over to you. We can refine that. Once you get it, then you can pass it off to the others, and they can disseminate it and change it
Okay.
however they want, or come back with it. But that should take. They should need at least 2 or 3 days to digest all of that. So if I can get that out early on Monday, then
Hmm.
I'm free to work on this stuff for the rest of the week, I think.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So that ball is in your court at the moment.
Yep.
I'll pick it up, and
Yep.
I think the overall kind of time frame we've got we shouldn't go beyond about the couple of weeks mark, week
Yeah.
and a half, that kind of thing.
Yeah. 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 Because we need to get, if we agree that, if you and I agree that the venture model that I propose is the right thing to do, then we need to start the company registration, regardless of whether the others agree with it or not. Because we're like, well, that's what we're doing anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll give them a chance to weigh in on it. But basically, if that's what our plan is, we're going to go for it. If they want to take a distorted view, or some other kind of model for the business, I don't think they do want to. But if they do, then that and its consequences are kind of in their court. I suddenly care less about Like, it's going to sound ridiculous, but I care less about OpenAI now that I see O1. Now that I see O1, I'm like, I see what they're doing now. I see what we're doing. I know what I
Yes.
want an AI system to do for me. I'm not that,
Well, yeah, it really comes down to, to be frank, if OpenAI disappeared, or their research and dev disappeared today, we'd have enough with the models they've already done to actually do everything
yeah,
they're doing.
yeah.
So the only pertinent point is the one you keep on making, which is if there is a functionality that we're working on, which is just going to be, yeah, here it is.
Yeah, and look, I just want to once more address the switchboard thing. I think regardless of whether they make a replacement or not, we have over-indexed on the navigation and the entry point to our system without spending enough time on what's in behind it. I think, and I think it trapped both of us. We got to break out of that and get some more meat on the bone.
Yeah,
Past the navigation.
Agreed. And actually, navigation, I think even as it stands, is pretty good.
Right, and yep, and once more, the goal should be, at the expense of all else, get these tools up so that we can be amplified as for ourselves. Like, we want these tools for us primarily. We have this CRM as a wonderful first case, but really the tools are of most benefit to us to be able to produce things very quickly.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. Okay, so I think we've gone through everything, and
Okay.
I probably need to go and get the dogs up.
Okay, all right, sweet.
So, is there anything else you want to go through?
No, buddy, that was it.
That's one. That was quite a meaty one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. Let's get this thing delivered, man. I think I can see a path. We got this, this thing here, this loop. That's our
Yes.
3-box. That's our 3-box jitter. That's the jitter system. We can get that.
It is.
We're off, I think.
Yes, I think it exactly is. And
Turns out it's funny when you look at where the time went, right? Like, prompting the bots was like 9 months. Modify files, if you ignore all the work that it took just to prompt files, prompt bots, modify files was maybe 2 months. Show widgets has been like 2 weeks. Modify files using widgets in the selection model, probably going to be like half a week. Testing was like 1.5 months. But yeah, that one was like the whole fucking thing.
yeah, but on day one, you could say, "Hey, we prompted bots," and it'd be shit.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably where most people are at, or even AI companies. It's like you got some dude who's been doing it for a few months.
Yeah.
And
it's hard. It's hard, eh? All right.
It's surprisingly hard. Yeah.
Cool. I will. I'll get this venture model over to you and those switchboard changes.
Good. Okay. All right. So not sure how much I'm gonna get done today because it's Sunday and usually turns into a family thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. Too. I mean, shit. We're not animals.
I'd like to be an animal.
I know.
But yeah. Well, let's pick up tomorrow.
Okay.
There might be.
All right, I'll stop the recording.
Yeah.